Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to Pathfinder Kingmaker. We are ready to enter Tuskdale. We've got a couple of events waiting for us in our throne room. But one interesting thing that I don't know what it necessarily means, I can't save the game. The save game button doesn't work, and when I click F5 to quick save, saving game is impossible. I've never seen that before, so are we in the middle of some event where the game isn't allowing us to save? Or what has gone wrong? I don't know. I'm hoping this is just a temporary thing. Anyway, it's weird. Let's head into Tuskdale.
Should gather our strength.
Great news, Your Grace. Maker Vaughn, Lord of Varnhold, wants to form an alliance with you and establish a trade route between your lands. Here is Lord Varn's letter. See for yourself. Most Honorable Baroness Melandra, this is Maker Varn, the ruler of the neighboring city of Varnhold. Writing, you might remember meeting me at the reception. Our encounter had a powerful effect on me. You are a brave warrior and a wise ruler, which is why I hope to enlist your support and in the future form a firm friendship. No matter whether the gods or the sword lords have contributed to us becoming neighbors, I believe that our alliance will be as steadfast as a rock. To signify the formation of our alliance, I invite you to visit Varnhold and see for yourself that my intentions are good. The city is still young, but we have a lot to show our guests. Our cellars are full of wine barrels and our storehouses of grain and cheese. It is easy to reach my city. The path to Varnhold lies in the east, past Lake Silverstep, and over the ridge of the Tors of Levnes. Hard to get lost in these parts. Whether you accept my invitation or not, I ask you one more thing. Consider building a route and developing trade between our lands. I am convinced that both of us would only benefit from this union. I anxiously await your visit. Respectfully yours, Baron Mager Varn. We have visited him before, but I am fine with the idea of helping. Hopefully we don't have to cover the entire cost of a route between our towns, because he should cover half of it. But having a safe route between our cities, our baronies, seems wise. A sweet smile plays on the tiefling's lips. I came to discuss something that rulers love more than the sun in the sky. The subjects hate more than the plague. That thing that fills a state with strength, that golden honey that diligent bees carry to their master's treasury. Yes, I'm here to discuss taxes. Nobody has any more doubts that your power is here to stay. No one has any illusions that your throne will be knocked over by the first gust of wind, or that these lands will ever be open to gangs again. And that means your subjects are ready to wear the heavy yoke of taxes. Of course, some will grumble, but that's to be expected. We'll first spend taxes of the obedient on pacifying the ones who rebel. You've done a fine job of seizing power, now it's time to enjoy its fruits. I suggest we double the taxes. I do not like that idea. Just taxing for the sake of the people recognize that they can't get rid of us, so increase the taxes. So we could pay 2 BP each week. I have another proposal. We will lower the taxes slightly, allowing the economy to grow in the future. First of all, we need to think about the common people, which would lower our BP. The unrest state will improve and the barony effect low taxes. Any opportunity resolved by the treasurer increases economy by 1. Interesting. So it's a way of getting higher economy stats as the game progresses, but at the cost of a lower BP forever. 2 BP is still quite a lot, but long term it's not going to be that much. We'll raise the taxes by 1/3. I think this will be a fair solution. Lowers community and loyalty, but boosts the economy. We've got plenty of community and loyalty. We also have a decent economy. Or we could gain 2 BP each week. Let's double the taxes. The barony needs all the money it can get. So we get 2 BP per week. Unrest state worsens. And high taxes, any a problem which the treasurer fails will reduce the economy by 1. Yeah, I'm not thrilled with that. The +2 BP per week would be nice. But I don't know the penalty of worsening the unrest state. I would like to improve things. I'm not going to say I trust you. You've already stated what your opinion is, and I don't agree with it. We're going to actually pay the 2 BP each week. Short term, it's going to hurt. Long term, I think this is going to be better. The joy in Kinnair's face dissolves into disappointment. I keep thinking about the ordinary people day and night, about what we can afford to take from them, what we should leave them, how to reward the obedient and punish the rebels, while you seem blind to the very nature of power. So be it. I'll abate the taxes, but be warned, excessive kindness ruins rulers far faster than excessive cruelty. Yeah, she wasn't thrilled by that, but that's fine. Let's rest. We could see about our kingdom affairs before we rest, because potentially after we rest, things will have moved along. So yeah, we got our invitation from Mager Varn, which boosted relations. Nice. I don't know why you brought me over here, but fine. Treasure requests our attention. We've dealt with that. Heeding the poor and weak. Project is complete, so we just have a permanent +1 bonus. Research into the nature of curses, Candlemere. Curses are mysterious, to be sure, but there is no curse at play in Candlemere. Its reputation stems from the strange portal located on the island and the will-o-wisps that once lived around it. This research has increased our understanding of arcane and divine magic. We have acquired a deeper understanding of the nature of curses. Excellent. So we could do the trade agreement with Mager Varn. A heavily guarded caravan will now carrying goods between our capital and Varnhold, +2 BP per week. Will now be carrying? So it would cost us 75 BP, but then we get 2 BP per week, which is nice. That'll pay itself off in not too long. I'm doing the math in my head, which is not good. Like 38, 37 weeks. I think if my math is okay. How much is a BP? A single BP is just 80 gold. Yeah. It's not that much. Let's build our trade route. I guess I probably should look at the different options. So yeah, she's automatically got a bonus on all of her rolls. Is that part of the leader bonus or the stat rank? Or does that not take place until we finish this? No, that's just leveling you up. Let's level you up first. So we'll put you on here. You'll level up. And then we will set up the trade agreement. As opposed to some of these others, Patax and New Stetven, who I don't trust, I'm fine with Mager Varn. Let's also claim the region. I don't know that it matters who I use. I don't see a roll occurring. But if it does give stat bonuses, I'd rather the stat bonuses go to Divine than Community. Also, we've got Arcane over 24. I don't know what it takes to get a Arcane Advisor. We need 225 BP. Alright. So that's 115 more, and then we're going to have to rebuy what we needed for the other, for the trade route. But that's fine. So you can start that claim. Once the claim's done, we'll be able to buy a region. So yeah, we've already got a town here, so we definitely don't need our new town, like, right next door. I don't remember where the bridge to cross is. Oh, we could just be crossed on the other side of the river. That's probably not a bad call. I mean, I could go all the way to here. Do these settlement names, is it just for the region, or do they have unique names each? No, they're just all... This one's always called Tatzelford. Weird. Okay. I was curious if they actually generated different names per location. We'll go on the river. Back here. I think that's fine. We need 50 more BP. Of course we do. There's never enough BP. So we'll want to swing by there at some point, just to see what's going on. But that's one more region we've acquired. Rank up. Oh, we've already... Yeah, we're already starting that. Please, give me more advisors. I don't understand.
We should gather our strength.
We should gather our strength. Let's rest for the day. Probably I'll talk to my advisors before I leave, just to see if anyone has anything to say.
I'm there.
Dr. Jod? Thank you.
How may I serve you, your grace?
Nothing new from you.
How may I serve you, your grace?
Yeah. So no, I don't think this talking to people is how we get the other advisors. It's just strange to me that we still don't have our arcane advisor.
I must.
Let's see, any worth a story? We've got the Dryad tokens. Some of the 5 items from the woods are still missing. Find the rest of the 5 belongings. Find all 5 items. Yeah. Still haven't finished finding all the things for any of those. After resting a day, did anything progress? No. Okay. That is fine. We can deal with that later. I guess with that, we are ready to set back out. I don't think there's anything in town I need to do. I don't think the Sweet Teeth have come back yet, but I can check to make sure. Also, the game is allowing saving again, which is good. At least the game is auto-saving itself. Let's just see. Yeah, it's allowing me to save. It was really weird where it didn't allow me to save on my own. Not sure what the deal was there. Not seeing any unusual citizens around yet. Yeah, the Sweet Teeth haven't come back. I'll just check to see if you have anything new to say. You do not. Probably the same with your sister. Yeah, I think we sent the Sweet Teeth off to find a safe route between 2 different regions. and it is apparently taking time. Ekundayo, anything new from you? Apparently, these look like we haven't talked about them yet. At least they're not grayed out. Thought we've talked to him. Ekun stands absorbed in his thoughts, which must be as heavy as the gaze of his dark eyes. Noticing you, he gives you a distracted nod and waits for your questions. Tell me about yourself. Life story is open to you. You deserve it. Ask. Where are you from? Where's your homeland? Thuvia, far south. A desert that treats the sun orchids like gold. Father took me to Absalom when I was 13. Never been to my homeland since. Roads always led north of Absalom. He shrugs. So Thuvia, situated on the southern edge of the inner sea between ancient Osirian and godless Raudum, Thuvia is a land focused almost entirely on the export of a single product. For over 3,000 years, it has been the sole manufacturer of sun orchid elixir, an alchemical brew which, if taken regularly, will stop the aging process. From what I remember from when I briefly tried Wrath of the Righteous, the queen of that region, wow, which has slipped my brain, but they're on the edge of the world wound fighting demons, and their queen, in order to keep her alive and leading the war effort, is given a steady supply of that elixir, the sun orchid elixir, so that she can essentially live forever to wage the war, which is interesting. What did you learn to use a bow? When wayfaring, he answers, traveled through the Northlands countless times, guarded trade caravans. Those who paid with gold dealt with the merchants. Those who wanted to pay with steel dealt with me. Do you worship Torag? I mean, I think that's pretty clear. Yes, Ekun nods. All gods are even in the eyes of men back in the motherland. Chose the one that fit best, though he is a dwarf god. He shrugs and glances at his longbow. Used to guard decent men and craft bows. Torag blesses both guards and crafters. Do you have any family? We know he had family. I don't think he does anymore. No, he answers indifferently. Mother died early, father died later. He stays silent for a while, then resumes. Wife Amanda and daughter Clarissa died recently. Torag bless their souls. Tell me about Amanda and Clarissa. Why ask? Ekun winces and stays silent for a while. Love them, he finally answers, turning away. Yeah, let's change the subject. I don't think he wants to talk about that situation. Tell me about your life in the Stolen Lands. Happy pages of life. Good to recall. Hurts to come back. How did you end up in the Stolen Lands? Got married, he answers. Crossed northern lands back and forth for a long time. Often came to the Stolen Lands. Spent nights in Bristol Hill. Recognized Amanda there, and she recognized me. One day realized leaving wasn't desirable anymore. You lived in the Stolen Lands for long? Too long. Forgot how to defend. Too short. Not enough to raise a daughter. Depends how you measure time. You like it in this country? Yes, but Stolen Lands have no credit in that. Seen many places worth staying. Always passed by. Ekun shrugs. People by your side are more important than woods and hills around you. Found those people here. Tell me again about the trolls attacking your village. Ekun swallows a lump in his throat. They attacked at night, slaughtered everyone. He answers. We all knew about trolls. Never thought they would come to the village. Never believed. Ekun closes his eyes and shakes his head as if in denial. They came before dawn. Plundered houses, killed dogs, cows, people. They ate. They gathered everything they could and left. Let's talk about something else. Tell me about your wolf. Not mine, he answers. Noticing this answer isn't satisfactory, he goes on. Never wanted a pet. Never needed one. But couldn't slay the trolls, defend the village. Just called for help. Ranger shifts his frowning gaze to the side. Everything grew dark for a moment, fainted, came back with the tongue of this dog on my face. Neutral good, you should accept his help. He's absolutely loyal to you. True. Neutral evil, drive him away then, if you dislike him so much. Are you going to give him a proper name? I mean, we haven't. Ours is still Wolf. You should accept his help. He's absolutely loyal to you. Ekun frowns. Never called for this dog. Guess he should be accepted. Just don't know. Aren't you going to give him a proper name? Ekin sighs. Not mine. He explains. A name would make him mine. I see. Let's talk about something else. What are your plans for the future? Ekin's eyes look at you, but his thoughts obviously wander somewhere else. To protect you. He shrugs. Doesn't matter. I'm sorry for your loss, Ekin. Tell me if there's anything I can help you with. I'm sorry that you lost your family. I would understand if you decided to leave me and get as far as possible from the stolen lands. Neutral evil. Pull yourself together. I don't need any whiners in my company. I'm sorry for your loss. Tell me if there's anything I can help you with. Ekin nods gratefully. Thank you. Talking with you already helps. You're not much of a talker, right? For a moment, you can almost glimpse a smile in Ekin's eyes. Someone has to be. To balance you. Well, I won't torture you with more conversation right now. We'll talk later. Interesting that we never talked to him. Does that mean we haven't talked with Jubilost either? Or did I remember to talk to Jubilost and not Ekin? Where is Jubilost? Can't see who that is, but I'm guessing that's Tristan. So, oh, there you are. You're right next to me. There you are. Can you go over and talk to him? I have not talked to him. Man, now I feel bad. Jubilost raises his head and closes his notebook. Oh, it's you. How can I help you? What are you jotting down in your notebook all the time? Notes on our adventures. Good ideas that come to mind. I don't know how it is with you, but in my case, my mind is constantly producing thoughts and ideas worthy of writing down. Some I use in my articles and books, others I will share with the audience next time I speak at Foray, Logos, and Absalom. Some other thoughts should be kept out of the public view for a while. Our world isn't yet ready for certain revelations. Well, tell me about yourself. I've heard this request so many times. Well, as we're traveling together, I suppose I can give you an interview, free of charge, of course. Where are you from? All of Galarian is my home. I'm a citizen of the world. Some might say my home is Absalom, that great old patchwork city. It's there that my books and magazine articles are published, and there I am held in particularly high esteem, owing to my vast knowledge. In fact, once I was invited to the College of Mysteries itself, but I prefer to think of Absalom not as a home but headquarters, where I go to plan my next adventure. I've visited every country worth mentioning in Avestan and Garund. I've even trodden the exotic lands of Tienzia. I've seen miracles you couldn't even imagine, and in every place I've been there was a home that would have gladly received a renowned explorer such as myself. The famous name of Jubilost Narthropple is known even in the most remote corners of the world. Okay, still, where were you born? I mean, where you're born doesn't necessarily state a home. You can be born somewhere but raised somewhere else. But sure, where were you born? You know, in the line between persistence and importunity is very thin, and you risk crossing that line. Jubilost sighs. Do you think I haven't mentioned my birthplace because of my forgetfulness? I was born in Taldor, if you must know. The Empire is in decline nowadays, but still cherishes the illusion of its past glory. It's a country torn by prejudice. In Taldor, my mind was trapped in a cage of restriction, birthright, poverty, and their beggars be damned attitude. I left the country as soon as I understood it. So if you ever try to rekindle any patriotic feelings in me, you'll be disappointed. My first article in The Independence was about Taldor. The magazine was almost closed as a result of the scandal that followed, and it would have closed were it not for crowds of my supporters marching in protest under the windows of the publishing house, making its editors change their minds. You've traveled so much. Tell me about your tell me of your travels abroad. Jubilost tilts his head, peering at you. I've written a fair number of articles and essays on my journeys, and if you'll excuse me, I haven't the slightest desire to retell them at all to you right now. If you wish to learn about foreign lands, pick up any issue of The Independence and read all you like. I'm sure you can find my magazines, even in this hole of a place. So you write books and magazine articles? I certainly do. I'm too generous not to share my thoughts and journeys with other minds who search for knowledge. Judging from your face, you don't belong in that category. Jubilost sighs. I mean, intelligence isn't our highest stat, but I wouldn't say we're dumb. Among my scientific works, I'd recommend the range of articles published in National Alchemy. If you prefer lighter reading, you might like Traveler's Essays or the scandalous The Independence. If pictures capture your attention better than words, page through the Illustrated Atlas of Abystan, and you should give your cook a volume or two of my culinary almanacs. Trust me, it might help. Jubilost throws a speculative glance at you. Some have tried to blame me for a sleazy romance novel called The Five Sins of Sarenrae. I have no idea on who spread these crazy rumors, but if you like such frivolity, I've been informed that the novel's sequel, The Sixth Sin, was recently published. So did you actually write it, since you are advertising the next book, but you just didn't put it under your own name? You wear glasses. Why won't you ask some cleric to heal your eyesight? Jubilost throws a cutting glance at you. I'm sure you could have figured out the answer to that question on your own if you bothered to use a logical approach. At least, I sincerely hope so. I prefer to think of you as a lazy person, not a stupid one. Jubilost tightens his lips. Well then, I suppose it's my fate to enlighten you. Alright, there's no time like the present. Let's build up to a logical conclusion together. So starting with the obvious, a cleric's services cost several hundred gold coins. Spectacles cost a dozen gold coins. So maybe I couldn't afford to pay the cleric. Incorrect conclusion. I earn enough. Besides, some clerics would surely help me free of charge, because they're fans of my incomparable talent. The answer can't be the money then. So what is it? Let's explore farther. Surely you've noticed that I'm a rather famous person. Just to be clear which circles I'm famous in, my scientific articles are well known among the students and teachers of various institutions of higher education. My articles that satirize the rich and powerful are extremely popular among the minor nobility, traders, and workers. That is, among anyone who doesn't have any power for themselves. The kind of people who don't usually have enough money to afford an expensive cleric. Well, can you add it all up and find the right answer yet? So he's wearing the glasses so he fits in with the common people? Jubilost doesn't let you get a single word in edgewise. Apparently he's uninterested in your reaction and is just enjoying listening to his own voice. My spectacles are something that unites me with my readers. People are more open to those who share their social status. Many of my readers can't afford to heal their eyesight at a temple. So when I too refuse such healing, I become closer to the people. My spectacles are part of my image. Jubilost exhales at last. I believe I've managed to explain the basics of logical thinking. No need to thank me. Well, thanks for telling me about yourself. Let me ask you about something else. Jubilost casually waves his hand. Ask away. Tell me something about the history of the gnome race. What have I come to? Jubilost Narthropple, famous explorer, writer, and scientist, is reduced to giving simple lessons in history? Very well, ask away. What questions do you have? How did gnomes appear on Golarion? They came here in ancient times from the First World. You do know what the First World is, right? If you don't, ask me about it some other time. I used to lecture on it at a couple of institutes. According to the understanding I've accumulated, the gnomes were an immortal race until some of our especially insightful ancestors came up with a brilliant idea. They decided it would be fun to learn how it feels to be mortal. I would like very much to meet those gnomes. I wouldn't even kick them. I'd just look in their eyes without a single word. Too bad. They're all long dead by now. As everyone knows, a stupid enough idea can be extremely contagious, so the gnomes caught this infection, all of them, without a hope for cure. So they found a way to Golarion and decided to settle here. And you'll never believe it, they got just what they wanted. They severed the link to the First World, they gained mortality, the bleaching, and a heap of local diseases that have been keeping our race on the verge of extinction ever since. Do gnomes live long? Certainly. Long and happily ever after. Jubilost shakes his head in remorse. We'd live as long as elves, were it not for the bleaching. That's the curse of our race, which only struck after the gnomes left the First World. To put it simply, gnomes must constantly have new experiences. If a gnome gets into a rut, so to speak, he bleaches. We start to lose color, literally. Our skin and hair becomes pale, and the worst thing is that our souls lose color too. If the process continues unchecked, the gnome dies. History recalls only a few cases where gnomes actually died of old age. Most of them perish either because of the bleaching, or in the middle of some crazy adventure they've joined just to stave it off. So bleaching is the name given to the physical decoloration and aging of a gnome, and is caused by a lack of exposure to new and exciting experiences. This bleaching of color is accompanied by a psychological decline, first into depression and apathy, and eventually into madness and death. Gnome efforts to fend off the bleaching only serve to fuel their racial curiosity and whimsy, giving it somewhat of a manic edge. Some claim the bleaching is a result of the gnomes leaving the First World thousands of years ago. Rare gnomes survive the bleaching and develop an enigmatic wisdom and connection to the natural world, earning them the name bleachlings. Interesting. I hadn't heard of the bleachlings. So you travel so much as a way to fend off the bleaching? Jubilost stares at you, then nods slowly. You see, I enjoy being alive. I like to eat pancakes in the morning. I like to write articles for magazines. I like it when I leave the publishing house in Absalom and a crowd of fans immediately mobs me. So I don't intend to die at the peak of my life because of some stupid ancient curse. But don't you dare imagine that everything I do is just for fear of the bleaching. I tell people the truth about the world that surrounds them. My theoretical research aids the development of different branches of science in various institutes. Yes, sooner or later I'll bleach and die, like any other gnome, but the name of the famous Jubilost Narthropple will live through the ages. Let's change the subject. I'd like to learn more about the First World. Well, you've asked the right person. I am an expert in studying the First World. Give me your questions. First World, what is it like? It's huge, wild, and extremely unfriendly to the unprepared traveler. Nothing remains constant there. Matter changes before your eyes. What was a mountain yesterday becomes a river today, and that river flows upwards. The trees touch the sky, the heat of the desert can melt metal, and hurricane winds can tear a person apart. But it would be wrong to think of the First World as a plane of total destruction. Creation is just as important there. The deserts spring alive into forests, and when the hurricane subsides, animals emerge from hiding, huge, wild, as untamed as the world itself. The First World epitomizes life in its original chaotic meaning. There's a theory that gods use the First World as training grounds to practice their ability to create matter, and then they abandoned the First World to its own fate and wandered off to create Golarion. Some say that the inhabitants of the First World still hold a grudge against the gods for this. How can a person get there? I mean, I think that's what we've been stepping into, like with that portal we went through. Was that actually taking us to the First World, or was that just sort of a in-between? Land is getting a bit fuzzy at the borders. I think we actually stepped into the First World, mainly through magic portals created by skilled magicians, but the price of such portals is usually in excess of several thousand gold coins. There's another way, of course. There are documented cases where spontaneous portals to the First World have opened in remote places on Golarion, where, as mages say, the boundaries between the two worlds has grown thin. But spontaneous portals are rather dangerous. You never know what's lurking on the other side. Only desperate adventurers or madmen use them. And of course, romantic suicidal idiots who think that good common sense is too boring. As someone who has gone through such portals and run into extremely bad danger. Yeah. Are there any sentient beings in the First World? Of course, the Fae, and all their relatives, and all their relatives' relatives, and then some more Fae besides. Sometimes one meets leprechauns or satyrs there, which are actually another type of Fae, just called by another name. And all of them are immortal, by the way, at least within their own homeworld. The souls of the creatures of the First World have no connection with the realm of mortals. When a creature of the First World dies, its soul just materializes in another body, similar to its old one. It's not a pleasant experience, and the resurrected creature loses almost all of the powers and abilities developed over its life, but keeps all of its memories and personality. It's still much better than a mortal death, I would say. Sometimes the process doesn't even take long. A killer might meet his victim again the following week. Naturally, this immortality has influenced the way the First World inhabitants think. For instance, Fae enjoy mischief and tricks that can easily end in someone's death. The Fae think it's just funny, and anyone from another world who falls victim to such tricks doesn't end up having much to say at all. Once the gnomes were mortal relatives of the Fae, Jubilost sighs. So he is really hung up on that. He wants that immortality back. I wonder if he would be happy to live in the First World if going back there would give him his immortality. Because obviously he can't have it here. Who rules the First World? It's commonly assumed that the eldest rule it. They are the overseers, but more just a glorified version of Fae Lords. Power attracts pompous blockheads in every world. Lawful good, what are you hinting at? I'm only fulfilling my duty. Or lawful evil, I do what I have the right to do. Or we could just remain silent and not goad him. I'll just remain silent. I mean, he's intentionally calling us out. Power attracts pompous blockheads. He has said that we're pretty dumb. Jubilost gives you a critical stare. It's fortunate then that this problem doesn't trouble your lands at all. Interesting. That almost sounds like a compliment. But let's get back to the first world. The eldest possess the power to keep matter in the first world in a more or less constant state. That's why the Fae treat them as demigods and offer them prayers, just as we offer prayers to Desna, Erastil, or even Lamashtu. So the eldest, no beings rule the chaotic and changeable plane known as the first world, the home of the Fae, but its most powerful residents are the mighty beings known as the eldest, sometimes known as the Fae Lords or the Shapers. They each pursue their own mysterious goals and have little interest in the doings of lesser creatures. You know a lot about the first world. Have you ever been there? Jubilost wrinkles his lips. I haven't the opportunity yet, unfortunately. My studies of the first world are limited to the confused statements of witnesses or scribbles in their diaries. Also, I've studied the remains of some unfortunates who periodically fall out of spontaneous portals. I keep to the hope that sooner or later I'll manage to visit that wonderful place, and certainly the notes I've written on the place would be far more extensive and informative than all the ramblings on the subject I've had to wade through. Naturally, the main concern of my expedition would be the safety of its leader, namely me. It would be extremely foolish to go that far and see that much, only to lose the chance to tell anyone about it. I'd like to talk about something else. Jubilost casually raises his hand. Ask away. You must know a lot about the first world. Okay. Tell me, why have you studied the first world so thoroughly? Jubilost looks at you for several moments, his eyes narrow. I told you already, I like to be alive. I assure you, other gnomes share the same attitude. Between the bleaching, disease, and old age, we have a lot to yearn for. But the ancient gnomes, for some reason, decided that mortality, the bleaching, and all the diseases of Golarion are preferable to the immortality of the first world. I can't do anything to change that, but I can do something with my own life. I want to find a way back to the first world for all the gnomes of Golarion. Unfortunately, to do this, I can't just gather up all the gnomes and send them marching through the nearest portal. We're too attached to Golarion now. We've lost our connection with the chaos of the first world. We've become too mortal, if you see what I mean. When a gnome dies in the first world, he dies forever, like any visitor. But there must be something that can be done to solve this problem, and I intend to find out what it is. So just going there isn't going to be enough. You are too mortal. You're too tied to Golarion. You need to somehow reattach yourself to the first world. Interesting. Jubilost Narthropple, the hero who returned the gnomes home. It has a nice ring to it, wouldn't you say? You're not very friendly, you know. He's fine. Thank you for the conversation. I have to go now. Come back when you run out of clever ideas again. Alright. I wonder if we had taken him with us when we stepped through that portal, if that conversation would be different when we asked if he's been there. If he would actually register it.
In due time.
Do I want to change up the party at all? I'm fine with this group. Tempted to bring Jubilost because we could go back to that portal, but I don't think we're going to go back to that portal anytime soon. So we'll keep these people. Now the question is, what do we do at this point? So we could head north and check out our new lands and the new town we just built there. Or we could start heading towards Varnhold. Because yeah, we've got this land now, and we built a town here that we could visit. How far away are you? Just 19 hours. As opposed to going somewhere up here. I think that was a dead end, so we probably need to go down here to get to Talon Peak and this hilltop trail. Probably shorter to go this way. You're 22 hours. Let's quickly swing by our new town. I think that's a fine choice. And then we'll come back through, potentially do a couple more upgrades before moving on to Varnhold. But we'll save that for next time, I think. for now, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you guys then. Bye.